Good morning, students. Our today's topic is bodies floating under constraints. A body which is wholly or partially immersed in a liquid. Sometimes that may not be floating freely. It may be floating under some constraints. For example, the body may be supported by a string attached to it, or it may be free to turn about some point. So in such cases, in addition to the weight of the body and the force of buoyancy, there is another force which is some external force required for the equilibrium of the body. So today we will discuss the condition of equilibriums for such body which is floating under constraint. So our article is to find the conditions of equilibrium of a body which is floating in a liquid with a string attached to some point of it. We will find it in that case when the specific gravity of the body is greater than specific gravity of the liquid. So let us consider this is a body which is floating in a liquid. A is the point on the body where a string is attached, and W is the weight of the body which is acting vertically downward to the center of gravity G, and let W dash, that is the force of buoyancy. Force of buoyancy means weight of the liquid displaced, and it acts vertically upward to this point H. H is the center of buoyancy. Now, here we have assumed that the specific gravity of the body is greater than specific gravity of the liquid, and weight is volume into specific gravity into density of standard substance into G. So we can say that weight W will be greater than W dash because the volume of the liquid displaced, that is less than the volume of the body, because the body is partly immersed in the liquid. So here W is greater than W dash, and because W is greater than W dash, so we can say that the body has a tendency to descend, and hence for the equilibrium, the force of tension that should act vertically upward. So here we are having three forces. One force is force of tension which is acting vertically upward. Second, the weight of the body acting vertically downward to the point G. And third force, force of buoyancy, W dash, which is acting to the point H. Now for the equilibrium, total upward force should be same as the total downward force. Downward force here is W and the upward forces are T and W dash. So in equilibrium, we must have W is equal to T plus W dash. So this is the first condition for the equilibrium. And also because the body is in equilibrium, so we can say that the algebraic sum of the moments of all the forces about every point is 0. And so let us take the algebraic sum of the moments of the forces about the point B. Here we have taken the moments about the point B because the tension T that is acting to the point B. So in order to eliminate the force of tension, we are taking moments about the point B. So in equilibrium, the sum of anti-clockwise moments will be same as the sum of clockwise moments. So here we can see that the line of action of weight W that is passing to the point C. So we will take this distance CB. So W into CB is equal to W dash into this distance. This is BD. So this is the second condition of equilibrium. So these two conditions are the conditions of equilibrium of the body which is floating in a liquid with a string attached to some point of it. In that case, when the specific gravity of the body is greater than specific gravity of the liquid. Now, we will discuss another case. In the second case, the body is totally immersed in the liquid and the specific gravity of the liquid is greater than the specific gravity of the body. Now, in this case, because the specific gravity of the liquid is greater than specific gravity of the body. So, in this case, we can say that the force W that will be less than W dash. Now, W is acting downward, W dash is acting upward, and W dash is greater than W. So, in this case, the body has tendency to ascend. It means in order to prevent the body from ascending, means for equilibrium, the force of tension that should be acting vertically downward. So in this case, the force of tension that will be acting vertically downward. So here we are having the weight W and the tension T. These are acting vertically downward, and the weight W dash that is acting upward. So in equilibrium, total upward force will be same as the total downward force. So we have the conditions W dash is equal to T plus W. And the second condition, that is the same, that the algebraic sum of the moments of all the forces taken about this point B, that will be 0. So we can say that W into BC is equal to W dash into BD. So these are the conditions of equilibrium. In that case, when the specific gravity of the liquid is greater than the specific gravity of the body. Now we will discuss some examples based on this. So our first example is a uniform rod of the length 2a can turn freely about one end, which is fixed at the height h. Here h is less than 2a, above the surface of the liquid. If the density of the rod is rho and the density of the liquid is sigma, then show that rod can rest either in the vertical position or inclined at an angle theta to the vertical, such that cos theta is equal to h upon 2a into under root of sigma upon sigma minus rho. Now to prove this, here let us consider this is a liquid having the density sigma, and this is the position of the rod AB. Let us take the length of this rod AB, that is 2a. One end of this rod A, that is fixed at a height h above the free surface. This height is h. This is the free surface of the liquid. Now let us take G is the midpoint of AB, which is center of gravity of the rod. So the weight of the rod that will act at the point G vertically downward, and we have taken it as W. And let us take W1 with the weight of the liquid displaced, means the weight of the immersed part of the rod. Immersed part of the rod is BC, and its midpoint we have taken as H. So H is the center of buoyancy. Now let us take theta is the angle of the rod with the vertical. Now let us discuss what are the forces acting on this rod. First force is weight W, which is acting vertically downward. Second force W1, which is the weight of the liquid displaced. and third is the reaction at the point A. Now, in order to eliminate the reaction at the point A, we always take moments about this point A. So in equilibrium, the sum of the moments of all the forces about this point, that will be 0. Or you can say that sum of anti-clockwise moments will be same as the sum of clockwise moments. So in order to find moments, first of all, let us find the values of W and W1. Now by the formula, W is weight of the rod. Weight of the rod means volume of the rod into density of the rod into G. Volume means length into area of cross sections. Length of the rod we have taken as 2A and area of the cross sections we have taken as S. Density of the rod, that is rho. So the weight of the rod will become 2A into S into G into rho. This weight is acting vertically downward through the point G. Now in the same way we can find the value of W1. W1 is the weight of the liquid displaced. So that will be given by volume into density of the liquid into G. Now volume of immersed part of the rod. Immersed part of the rod is BC. So the length is BC into area of cross sections, that is S, into density of the liquid, which is sigma, into G. Now what is BC? You can see from here BC is given by AB minus AC. Now AB is the length 2A and AC we can find from the triangle which is, this is the point A and this is C. You can use this triangle to find AC. In this triangle, this is perpendicular, this is hypo, this is base. So from here, because this length is H, because this is H, so that will also be H. So we can use a base upon hypo is equal to cos theta. So H upon AC is equal to cos theta. So we can say AC upon H is equal to secant theta. So AC will be H into secant theta. So putting the value here, we have obtained the value of weight W1. W1 is given by 2A minus H secant theta into S into sigma into G. And this weight is acting vertically upward at the point H because this is the buoyant force. And third force, reaction at the point A. Now let us apply the condition of equilibrium, means the sum of anti-clockwise moments is equal to sum of clockwise moments. Now the moment of W, that will be given by W into the perpendicular distance of line of action of W from the point A. Now in this diagram you can see W is acting through the point G and its line of action of force is this line and its distance from the point A, this is AN. So we have to take W into AN. And for the force W1, the line of action is this line. Its perpendicular distance from the point A, that is AL. It means we require the distances AN and the distance AL. Now to find the distance AN, you can use this triangle. In this triangle, this is perpendicular, this is hypotenuse. So perpendicular upon hypo, that is sine theta. So AN upon AG will be sine theta. So you can find the value of AN, which is AG into sine theta. And to find AL, you can use this triangle, ALH. AL is perpendicular, AH is hypotenuse. So AL upon AH is equal to sine theta. So AL will be AH into sine theta. So we have obtained the values of AN and AL. Now we can put the values in this condition. W into AN is equal to W1 into AL. AN is AG sine theta and AL is AH sin theta. Now the value of W and W1 we have already obtained. So putting the value of W here, which is 2AS rho G into the value of AG. AG is half of AB and AB length is 2A, so its half will be A into sin theta. On the right side, putting the value of W1, the value of W1 is 2A minus H secant theta into S into G into sigma. Now this is AH sin theta. Now it remains to find the value of AH. Now from the figure you can see that AH, that is given by AC plus CH. Now AC and CH, these two we are to find. So first of all we find the length AC. Now you can see in this triangle ACM, AC upon AM, AC upon AM, that will be secant theta. So from there you can find AC, which will be at secant theta. So we have obtained the value of AC. Now we can substitute the values. It remains to find BC. Now from the figure again you can see what is BC. BC is given by AB minus AC. AB is 2A and AC we have obtained already, which is at secant theta. So we have obtained all the values and we can put in this equation. So finally our equation becomes 4A square rho is equal to 2A minus H secant theta into 2A plus H secant theta into sigma. Now from here you can combine the terms with secant square theta and find its value from here. After simplification you will get the value 4A square into sigma minus rho upon sigma H square. Taking reciprocals and then square root, you will get the value of cos theta, which is given by H upon 2A into under root of sigma upon sigma minus rho. We are to prove that either a rod rests in vertical position or inclined at an angle theta, satisfying this equation. So one of the conditions we have obtained. For the another condition, we can see that where we have applied the condition of equilibrium, that the sum of anti-clockwise moments is equal to sum of clockwise moments. From there, we can see that this equation will be satisfied if sine theta will be 0. So it means theta will be 0. So this is another condition, means another position of the rod. So when theta will be 0, it means the rod will be in the vertical position. So the other position of the rod, that is the vertical position. Now the remaining parts of this exercise we will discuss tomorrow.